afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4. In honor of Susan, it's Friday. Susan's on vacation. You filled in very well with theirs.
Why, thank you. I do my best.
Charlotte, to let's stay along. We have a busy show today, and boy, does it smell good in here.
Oh, it's great. Happy Friday to us.
Yes, we have a special guest. We have the chef of Enovino.
Enovino.
Big winner of the Madison Magazine's Best of Awards. Nine. So we're cooking up
They're
some
kind of
stuff
a
here.
big deal around these parts.
Especially in here today. We're going to try all of that. But first, let's find out what's making news on this Friday. Robert Kraft's team won the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago. Now he's back in the spotlight, and he is not going to like it.
A sentencing hearing for a man charged with making explosives in his West Side apartment is rescheduled. Madeline O'Neill has a live update.
And Congress is preparing to vote to block the president's emergency declaration, something he's not happy about. A lot of unhappy people in our headlines today.
Right.
Let's check.
Gotta change this around somehow.
Let's check the weather. Outside today, the sunshine sure makes a difference.
It certainly does. Look at this.
They're all huddled around the one bare spot.
The one spot.
Type font here, XXX.
Well, you know, I think a lot of the snow, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good amount of snow will be melting today and through tomorrow.
A lot of rain, apparently.
But then we're going to have some
freezing.
Yeah.
Dave Caulfield, well, he's an expert. Let's go to him in the backyard. He can tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, I think, this weekend. If you're not sure what you maybe want to enjoy, the atmosphere will provide a bit of a buffet as we head into Saturday and Sunday. I don't think we're going to like a lot of the choices, unlike what we have in the studio from Enovino today, which we're all going to enjoy. Doppler track is quiet, which we can enjoy for now across southern Wisconsin. But as we zoom out, we can see a little bit of what's on the way. Some rain well to the south and some snow to the west and northwest. I think the opening act for tomorrow across southern Wisconsin will be in the form of freezing rain, and then a little bit of everything comes our way throughout the next few days. We did see a little bit of sunshine on this Friday in Madison. The clouds have increased over the last few hours on the WISC-TV Skycam, but currently still at the freezing mark of 32 degrees. Southeast wind at 7 miles per hour, making it feel like 26 outside. Some other temperatures just above freezing. Others are in the mid-30s, like Janesville at 36. So that's about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. So your day planner as we head into the next few hours, the clouds continuing to increase ahead of that first round of precipitation that arrives early tomorrow morning. Temperatures will fall into the mid-20s, but then rise as we head into tomorrow. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. No major accidents or incidents to report on the Beltline or across Dayton County, but we are starting to see those brake lights pick up a little bit, as you might expect. Downtown starting to become a little bit busier as well. It is Friday afternoon as far as traffic goes, after all. And as we look at our drive time, starting to get some brake lights on the Beltline eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan. That's 15 minutes, so running a little bit slow. Average speed of around 20 miles per hour. And some other routes in and around Madison. Westbound Middleton to Sauk City on Highway 12. That's still looking good right now at 16 minutes with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. We will talk all about everything that we can expect over the next few days in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
And it sounds like we are going to get everything.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you in a few minutes, Dave. Thank you.
First at 4, a story that's generating a lot of social media comments.
Police in Florida have charged New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft with solicitation of prostitution. Hillary Lane has the story.
Less than 3 weeks ago, he was celebrating another Super Bowl win. Now the billionaire owner of the New England Patriots has been swept up in a sex sting.
That would be Mr. Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots?
Yes, sir.
Police in Florida have charged 77-year-old Robert Kraft with 2 counts of misdemeanor soliciting prostitution. He's one of 25 men charged with paying for sex acts at a massage parlor in Jupiter. They claim to have the video evidence recorded on undercover cameras at least twice.
The video that we obtained, it shows the act that took place.
If so, that evidence could lead to a plea bargain.
If there is video evidence, my guess is he will plead guilty and negotiate some kind of agreement with the prosecutor.
President Trump is friendly with Kraft and commented from the White House.
It's very sad. I was very surprised to see it. He's proclaimed his innocence totally, but I'm very surprised to see it.
The charge comes as Florida police have been cracking down on sex trafficking in the area around Palm Beach. They'll be issuing a warrant for Kraft's arrest.
We're as equally stunned as everybody else.
Kraft lost his wife in 2011 after nearly 50 years of marriage. His spokesman said in a statement that he categorically denies engaging in any illegal activity. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
Now, this charge could lead to jail time, but legal analysts say probation and community service is more likely.
In Chicago, R&B star R. Kelly is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow after he was charged with sexual abuse over a 2-decade time period. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx announced the 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse. They involve 4 alleged victims. At least 3 of those alleged victims were under 17. Kelly has faced rumors of sexual abuse for years, some of them going back to 1998. If Kelly is convicted on all 10 counts, it is possible he could be sentenced for up to 70 years behind bars. And the producers of the TV show Empire, which is shot in Chicago, say Jussie Smollett's character will be removed from the final 2 episodes of this season. Today's announcement comes after Smollett was charged with felony disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. The producers of the show say Smollett's character, Jamal, was being removed from the final 2 episodes of the season to, quote, avoid further disruption on set. The man prosecutors say was planning an attack on UW-Madison's campus with explosives found in his West Side apartment last year has had his sentencing hearing rescheduled to May.
About 24 apartments were evacuated on Timberlake Trail last February when police found an assortment of potentially dangerous chemicals in 31-year-old Brian Campbell's apartment. Our Madeline O'Neill is live at the Dane County Courthouse where a motion hearing has just wrapped up. Maddie, what's the latest?
Mark and Charlotte, today was supposed to be the sentencing hearing, but instead this afternoon centered on the sentencing memorandum from the state. The judge decided not to strike down the state's memorandum in this case. It comes after the defense challenged it in a motion yesterday, claiming it wasn't based in fact and breached the plea agreement. In the memorandum filed earlier this week, prosecutors allege Campbell was planning an attack on UW-Madison's campus and had looked online for instructions on how to make explosives and drew maps of the tunnels on campus. The defense says those arguments went above and beyond fact. Prosecutors say the memorandum was necessary to argue Campbell is a public threat.
It seems to me that this entire case started out initially as an enormous overreaction because there was so much fear for what might have been going on, and that the state has been unable to come to terms with the factual information that exists.
It's evident to me that the defense does not want me to talk about the facts in this case that reflect negatively on the defendant. I don't blame them for that. The defense attorney is the defendant's advocate. But I have a right to talk about those facts just as much as the defense has a right to talk about the facts that reflect positively on the defendant.
While the judge decided not to strike the memorandum, she did offer Campbell the chance to withdraw his plea agreement. His attorney declined that, but now the sentencing hearing is pushed back a couple of months to May 13th. Mark and Charlotte.
All right, Madeline O'Neill reporting this afternoon. Maddie, thank you.
The U.S. House of Representatives plans to vote on a resolution to stop the president's national emergency declaration for the border wall next week. The president declared an emergency on the southern border to go around Congress to get money for a border wall. This resolution to revoke that has more than 225 co-sponsors. The House is expected to pass the measure. It then goes on to the Senate, where several Republicans have voiced concern with the declaration.
I am concerned about the impact on our military and military readiness, and just also kind of doing a legal analysis of where this goes and what the precedent is.
Everybody knows we need border security. We need a wall. I think it's a very bad subject for the Democrats.
The president plans to use the emergency declaration to pull more than $6 billion of wall funding from the Pentagon's budget. If the resolution undoing that makes it to his desk, he's expected to veto it, kicking it back to Congress, where a 2/3 majority will be needed to override the veto.
Catholic Church leaders are on day 2 of a special Vatican summit focusing on accountability to confront decades of sex abuse scandals and cover-ups. The Archbishop of Chicago, Cardinal Blaise Cupich, called for new legal procedures to investigate predatory priests, hoping to rebuild trust with Catholics around the world.
Victims and their families, as well as persons who report the allegation, need to be treated with dignity and respect.
Pope Francis gave participants here a list of 21 reflection points for actions that can be taken after church leaders leave the summit. They include using lay experts to help investigate abuse accusations.
Kraft Heinz is disclosing an investigation by federal regulators and will slash the value of its Oscar Mayer brands by $15.4 billion. Shares plunged 28% today, marking the company's worst ever one-day sell-off that erased $16 billion in market value. Otherwise, stocks had a pretty good day on Wall Street as traders are optimistic about U.S.-China trade negotiations. The Dow Industrials gained 181 points, closing above the 26,000 mark for the first time since last November. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 67 and the S&P 500 tacked on 17. Well, medical staff and chaplains at SSM Health are warning people of a prayer scam going around.
Calls from people at St. Mary's Prayer Center are tricking people to donate money in exchange for a prayer for them. Jamie Perez has more details on what the scam call is all about.
All right, well, the problem here is that the name St. Mary's is a pretty common name. So when an automated message calling from the St. Mary's Prayer Center is answered, some people think it sounds a lot like St. Mary's Hospital. The call introduces the name and then asks you to press 1 if you would like someone to say a prayer for you. It tells you to press 3 if you no longer want to hear from them. The problem with pressing 3 is it sends you in another spiral of options where it eventually asks you for your credit card information. Your best bet if you answer a call like this is to just hang up. Pastors at St. Mary's Hospital here in Madison say they would never run a for-profit prayer business like this.
Shows the power of greed and the power of human ingenuity, and I don't want this hospital's name associated with that kind of behavior.
Pastor Carlson said the people behind this scam are targeting more and more people here in Wisconsin right now, but it has been reported around the country for this exact same thing. There are scams for absolutely anything that you can think of. Many of them target a lot of vulnerable people, so make sure you pass on this message. Don't ever give away your card information over the phone. Simply hang up.
And prayer is always free.
Yeah.
Exactly. Never pay for that.
Pray for a prayer.
Exactly.
All right, Jane, thank you.
Sure.
There's more to come at 4. Madison Magazine's list of best winners is now out, and the magazine is on stands now.
And one business, Enovino, took home the most awards, 9 in all. We'll find out what makes both locations of Enovino so popular when Live at 4 continues.
This is News 3 Now, live at 4.
Earlier this week, we showed you some of the winners of this year's Best of Madison Awards, and one of the big winners is Eno Vino Wine Bar and Bistro. 5 gold, best place for first date, restaurant ambiance, bar with a view, and hotel bar and wine bar. Oh, and then there's those 4 silver ones.
4 silver. Yeah. Anibal Brandt is the executive chef at Eno Vino and joins us today. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, thank you.
9 awards. That's pretty impressive.
It is. We are really happy to have won this many.
What do you think makes your place so popular?
Well, I think the ownership that we have is really supportive to us, and then having a great team, I think that makes the big difference.
And that location downtown, that view, I'll tell you.
It's gorgeous. And let's not forget the food. I mean, there you've got it all. You really do have the view, the wine
selection,
yes,
the espresso martini, and this.
And what are you cooking here today?
Well, we're gonna make our signature dish, cebas and scallops. For this, we really need a really nice piece of cebas, 2 scallops, about U10, the size U10. And then it goes along with a verjus, butter sauce, and then our house-made tomato jam. And yeah, that's basically it.
Well, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
And you're a native of Venezuela.
I am.
This is your first job in the U.S.?
Yes.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna start off with a really nice and hot pan. We're gonna place our cebas here. All right, it needs to be really high, really hot, because you really want to get that nice and golden brown crunch. All right, we can put our scallops in too, and then we can leave it there for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we give them a flip, and then we put it in the oven for about 5 more minutes, and that's it. So we can start with a plating.
Did you come up with this recipe, or?
Well, this recipe has been there since we opened, like 14 years ago.
14 years on the west side.
Yes.
And you've been about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years in May, I guess, downtown.
Yes.
That's right. So.
Have you ever wanted to tinker with it, though? Be like, hey, I just want to add a little bit of zing.
I can, but being a really popular dish, I think people is expecting the same flavor every time, so I don't want to change anything in that dish.
What are the other popular dishes that you have there?
Downtown location, we have our crispy lobster, has been really popular. The Enada pork tacos, that's another hit, too. Also on the west side, we have our portobello mushroom ravioli, which is a really good ravioli.
So it's not the same menu at both places?
No.
Oh, that's
and that
interesting.
makes a difference too.
And you work in both?
I am.
He's everywhere.
He is everywhere. So this is the end product.
Exactly. This is the final product. I'm gonna show you how to plate it.
Okay.
We have some. Excuse me.
To the magic of television. We have some done already.
Too bad this isn't smell-o-vision.
It smells great.
Smells good, right? Okay. We're gonna start with the plating. This is a verjus butter sauce, which is a wine reduction with butter and some shallots. We're gonna pour...
Calorie-free.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is
We're
today.
gonna pour 1 ounce of this sauce on the bottom of the plate. This is a really simple dish, but I think it has everything for a perfect dish. All right, I'm gonna give them a flip.
You just did that so effortlessly.
I know.
I could never do that.
You would just slop it on.
Okay, we top it off with a little bit of basil, right? Fresh basil. I really like that flavor. And then, I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. And then we gently place the cebas on the plate, like this, followed by the 2 scallops, okay, like this. And then we have our tomato jam, and we shape it like as a canal. You have it right here. We top it off with this, and we finish it off with a fried basil leaf.
Fried?
Yes.
Voila.
So, and now we have our cebas and scallops.
That's too pretty to eat.
It is. It is.
All right. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you so much for having us.
And this is the reason they have 9 Best of Madisons. And you can read all about the Best of Madison Awards in this month's issue of Madison Magazine. Anibal, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
We'll be right back. Take a look at this. This googly-eyed snowplow in Massachusetts is plowing all by itself. MIT engineer Dane Coutron built the goofy gadget for one reason. He wanted to stay inside and not go out in the cold. It can be operated by remote control or programmed to work on its own. It features an obstacle-avoiding vision system, but not from those big cartoonish eyes. They're just there for fun. Dane has no current plans to capitalize on his invention, but you know what? He should.
Oh my gosh,
he
absolutely he should.
Look at that thing.
His name is Dane. We could get it across Dane County.
You know what? If he's not going to do that, maybe we should.
I see dollar signs in those eyes and in these eyes as well.
That's kind of fun, and we may need it a little bit.
A little bit. We're getting a taste of everything. A taste of...
we don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather taste the scallops.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some scallops, maybe some other fish. The weather's a little bit fishy this weekend, that is for sure. Freezing rain, snow, sleet, rain, high wind.
Locusts.
Did I forget anything? Something else? Maybe. Yeah, first alert forecast coming up right after this. Good afternoon. I hope you had a really nice Friday so far, and it's been a really nice Friday across southern Wisconsin with plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-30s. And did you see the rainbow outside? Oh, I'm sorry, not actually outside. We just have a rainbow on our weather map of all the different weather bulletins that we are watching this weekend. Literally, we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue out towards the west coast, purple, even some gray showing up a little bit closer to Mississippi and Alabama. Alabama. For us across southern Wisconsin, we have purple, the winter weather advisory for early tomorrow morning. Some freezing rain is possible. Now, in the southwest, we still do have winter storm warnings, and that snow will head our way by the time we get to the end of this weekend. Briefly, also some flooding concerns across much of the southeast. And as I was mentioning, we have high wind watches, wind advisories for the area. So some gusty winds possible later on Sunday. Also some freezing rain early Saturday and some snow. Really, if you can dream it, the atmosphere can do it this weekend. We have some snow off to the west and northwest, rain to the south. We are clear right now, but I can guarantee it won't stay that way for much of this weekend, but nothing to talk about as of yet. That precipitation has not arrived just yet. But alert days in the forecast for tomorrow and for Sunday. Starting off with some sleet and freezing rain, up to 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation is possible. Then early on Sunday, some snow briefly and very windy conditions after that. So here are the numbers for the first round, the opening act of ice, if you will. About 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice, and that could cause some slick spots, especially early, until we get that rain to help warm things up and melt the ice that has fallen by Saturday morning. So a live look in Madison at mostly cloudy skies on the Edgewater Skycam. We did see some good sunshine today, and temperatures actually above normal. Only the 6th or 7th day since we were in the middle of January that temperatures have gotten above freezing in Madison. Right now we are at the freezing mark exactly in Madison, 36 in Janesville, 33 in Watertown, and 34 in Mineral Point. 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we were yesterday, so we can definitely feel the pleasant weather outside. This weekend will be the farthest thing from pleasant, that's for sure. Tonight, temperatures falling into the mid-20s. Light snow and freezing rain developing late. So let's take a look at what I'm calling the atmosphere's or Mother Nature's talent show. Now, like some talent shows, we may not exactly want to look at all the acts, but we'll have to kind of get through them. So the opening act will be early tomorrow morning, and it will be in the form of freezing rain. We could see that coming in early on Saturday. Then temperatures will warm up enough by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, where we'll be expecting just rain. I think there will be a period of dry weather early in the afternoon. That's the best time to get some errands done, to get any travel plans that you have done, because this is what's coming later on. The second act of the talent show will be in the form of rain and heavy at times. We could also see some thunderstorms across southern Wisconsin. And then farther to the north, we're looking at mixed precipitation and snow. Then the third act will be the snow that comes in. It will be here early on Sunday. It won't be around for long, so that's good news. We won't really see a lot of accumulation for southern Wisconsin. Now that changes as we head to the north and west, and then things clear out by early on Sunday morning. The high winds then become the star of the show. So as I mentioned, up to 1/4 of an inch of ice possible, especially early on Saturday. Then some heavy rain is possible. That could cause some minor flooding concerns across portions of southern Wisconsin. Generally looking at about 1 inch of accumulation, but if you are traveling north and west, you really need to pay close attention to this weather pattern, because you see how fast those snow amounts drastically go up as you travel to the north and west. And then as far as the wind gusts go, we could be talking about 40 to 45 miles per hour gusts on Sunday afternoon into the early evening hours. So with all that in mind, let's take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures will be staying in the 20s as we head into the middle of next week. So a cold start to the week. We could be looking at a couple more rounds of light snow. I think the best chance of seeing some accumulating snow will arrive on Thursday night into Friday, but that's a ways away. We just got to get through the mess that is this weekend. The good news is across southern Wisconsin, I don't expect any major impacts from this system. It's just going to be a lot to deal with, and we need to pay close attention to whatever is falling from the sky.
It's a 3-ring circus is what it is.
Exactly. The circus was in town last weekend.
It's back.
Now it's back.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Well, it sounds like a good weekend to really watch some TV. Catch News 3 this morning, both the Saturday and Sunday.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Jane Pauley is with us once again. Good afternoon, Jane.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Doing great. I understand you have a special Hollywood edition of Sunday Morning this week.
Well, of course, it's Oscar Sunday. And ever picture yourself on the red carpet? With new technology, like our smartphones, there are many new ways to be noticed. Could you be a star? That's our cover story. And then we go behind the glamour for a close-up on the Best Actor category. In Bohemian Rhapsody, Rami Malek plays the iconic lead singer of Queen, Freddie Mercury, who was famous for his teeth. That's where Chris Lyons comes in. As Lee Cowan tells us, he's famous for his teeth, too. Here's a clip.
When the offer first came to you, it's pretty daunting. In this particular case, out of all the teeth you've done, because these are almost like a character.
It's an iconic set of teeth for an iconic character from an iconic band. Everybody knows Freddie's teeth, and yes, I was very worried.
As the story goes, Mercury didn't want to change his teeth because he feared it might change the sound of his voice.
Hey, Freddie, your teeth. Why don't you get your teeth fixed?
I live in Britain. I don't want to stand out.
So, for Best Achievement in Teeth, I think we have our winner, Mark.
I think so. Maybe a supporting actor award for the teeth.
I'm sorry. Yes. I mean,
All right. What else do you have on the show, Jane?
Well, Mo Rocca has an encounter with Angie Dickinson he won't forget. A leading lady in TV and film. She's 87 now, and looking back on a career Mo describes as a half-century-long masterclass in the art of seduction. We'll also have some Oscar picks for you, and Jim Gaffigan has thoughts on this year's hostless Academy Awards and more. We'll see you Sunday.
A great Hollywood edition of CBS Sunday Morning. We'll see you at 8 o'clock.
You're welcome.
Made Jane laugh today.
Jane stole my line.
What's that?
The hostless Oscar telecast airs on Sunday, Jane.
We'll get an Oscar preview and some predictions for Hollywood's biggest night when Live at 4 continues.
The countdown is on for the 91st Academy Awards ceremony.
And this year there are big changes in store for the show. Chris Martinez has a look at who could take home Hollywood's biggest honors.
Preparations are underway outside the Dolby Theater as Hollywood gets ready to honor its very best.
I am the queen, but you are mad.
This year, The Favorite and Roma lead the pack with 10 nominations each. Both films are up for Best Picture, along with Green Book, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, A Star is Born, Vice, and Marvel's Black Panther.
It's a really interesting mix this year, I think, because there are some really popular movies, but also some very small movies.
Variety Magazine Awards editor Tim Gray says this year no one film is expected to sweep the awards, which could mean a night of surprises, with perhaps a few exceptions.
I think the closest thing you get to a consensus, Alfonso Cuarón, director, Glenn Close for actress, Rami Malek for actor.
But beyond the winners, a lot of attention on this year's Oscars will focus on the ceremony itself. For the first time in 30 years, the show won't have a host, instead relying on Hollywood A-listers like Barbra Streisand, Samuel L. Jackson, and Melissa McCarthy to hand out trophies. Gray thinks a shorter, streamlined show could be a hit with viewers.
When you watch the Oscar show, it's like a good 20 minutes before they get to the first award. So okay, right away, the show's going to be quicker.
As for who will ultimately take home Hollywood Gold, only Oscar knows. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And the Academy says more than 50 celebrities will present awards during Sunday's show. Should be interesting.
Well, we'll be watching. Still to come at 4, you can't take it with you, but our Michael Bruno is going to at least try.
That's right. He's up next with Oregon High School's production of You Can't Take It With You. That's when Live at 4 continues.
How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon? Oh, I'm very fond of it. We could have
Good afternoon. Here is your Friday First Alert traffic update. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. The Beltline is looking, as you might expect, for a Friday afternoon with average speeds of around 20 to 30 miles per hour, especially in that typically slow stretch, the midsection, if you will. Verona Road eastbound to John Nolan, that's up to 15 minutes, average speed of around 15 miles per hour. And some other routes, eastbound University Ave to the interstate, that'll cost you 27 minutes with an average speed right around 35 miles per hour. And that is your First Alert traffic update.
Ahead of their much-anticipated arrival in Vietnam, impersonators for President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un drew a crowd in Hanoi today. The real Trump and Kim will meet for their second summit on February 27th and 28th in Vietnam's capital.
That's a good Well, the play You Can't Take It With You premiered on Broadway in 1936. It won a Pulitzer Prize for drama the next year.
This timeless production hit the stage at Oregon High School this weekend. Our Michael Bruno traveled to Oregon to go backstage of You Can't Take It With You.
We begin. Now, pirouette, pirouette. Oh, come, it's 8 years, you can do that. All right, class, entrechat.
You Can't Take It With You centers around the Sycamore and Vanderhoff family, and it's an eccentric family living in the midst of the Great Depression, and they live a carefree lifestyle and don't seem bothered by the cares of the world. And their youngest daughter ventures off and falls in love with an executive's family and his son, and they begin a relationship. And as the two families meet, it quickly becomes apparent that this is not going to work out. And as the turmoil begins, the families have to kind of decide who changes or do they change. And it really centers again on that idea of what makes a person happy. Is it money? Is it love? Is it lifestyle? And it's got a great, fun ending.
Oh! Whoa, well, how do you do? How do you do? Are we too early? Oh, no, it's perfectly all right. Just come on in, make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, why, yes, only, we thought it was to be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night?
Well, now it's perfectly all right. Don't let it bother you.
Well, Tony, how could you possibly?
I don't know.
Really, Tony, this is most embarrassing.
Oh, not at all. Why, really?
Tell me a little bit about your character. Who is she and what happens to her during the show?
My character is Penny, and she likes to write plays, a little bit scandalous plays, if you will, and she just wants her daughter to be happy, and she sees how happy she is with this, guy, and when she sees that being taken away, I think it really affects her and makes her become kind of not so happy and crazy, Penny,
Don't mind the costume. I will take it right off. No, Mr. DePitta, would you go down and tell Mr. Sycamore to come right up? Tell him Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here.
Grandpa is the head of the family and sort of is the center of their bohemian lifestyle, where he quit his office job 35 years before the event of the show, and he basically has lived a lifestyle of just relaxing and doing what he wants to do. And he integrates everyone around him into that own lifestyle of just being yourself and focusing on who you are.
How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
We could have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Well, make it some frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell's soup. Thought that, Ed?
Okay.
And tell him to hurry. The A&P is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore.
Talk a little bit about the frustrations there are of doing a show in the middle of the snowpocalypse and the polar vortex.
Right, so this seems to be the show that Mother Nature doesn't want to happen, as I think we've dropped 7 different school days and rehearsal days for the process, and for a play that's over a week's rehearsal time. But the kids have been incredibly motivated to do their best in the rehearsal time that we've had. I had some extra rehearsals on the weekends even to kind of make up for those that we've dropped. And so I feel like we're kind of showing Mother Nature and going to prove the show must go on.
That is my mother. Yes. The fireworks. The fireworks. The fireworks.
Michael Turner, what the heck's going on there?
Oh, fireworks! One of the characters is actually making illegal fireworks in the basement. So all the G-men come in and they try to arrest them, and all the fireworks go off. So there's hilarity ensuing. And fireworks popping off everywhere in Oregon.
Great looking set.
It's a beautiful set. The costumes are beautiful. The set is beautiful. It's a cast of thousands. It's so encouraging to see high schools doing productions like this. It's really, really wonderful.
And the fact that they had to cancel all of those rehearsals, and they're still spot on.
It's really tough for them. They really had to cancel many rehearsals for that. So yeah, they really had to stay extra hours and put in some extra time and effort on it. But they're troopers, boy.
They
really
love it.
Good.
Yeah,
They really do.
You can't take it with you. It's Friday and tonight, and tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Sunday, a 2 o'clock matinee at Oregon High School. Go to oregondrama.bpt.me. Next week.
Next week, it is The King and I at the Overture Center.
Broadway production.
Wait.
Yes.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
Right back with a final check of your forecast. Dave's here. A little bit of everything this weekend.
Yes, we start off with freezing rain early tomorrow morning, then a bit of a break. Temperatures warm up. The ice will start to melt, especially into Saturday evening when we get rain to kind of wash it all away. Then that rain changes to snow Sunday morning, some minor accumulations possible. Then the high wind arrives with gusts of about 40 to 45 miles per hour possible. And then Monday we can all take a few breaths after we get through this.
So Dane County Metro, not a big impact on, but just everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of one thing.
If you're traveling to the north and west, pay very close attention because some heavy snow possible up there.
All right, we've been warned.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Coming up Monday here on Live at 4, our film critic Will Loper reviews the movie How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
And I will introduce you to a teacher at the Wisconsin School for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Janesville who opens up the world of science to her students. Like everyone else, our canine correspondents Lola and Louie have had it all with the snow here.
But you know what? If you're going to live where it snows, you might as well have some fun with it. Case in point, this week's edition of the News Hounds Now Update.
It's News Hound Update with Lola and Louie.
Leading things off this week, the mandatory video of Mei Xing and Bei playing in the snow at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Whenever it snows in the nation's capital, the pandas hit the slopes with hilarious results.
But not to be outdone, what goes better with snow than penguins? The big birds at the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium were outside doing what penguins do best, playing in the snow.
Now for a Zoo Baby alert, the Valencia Zoo in Spain is showing off its new resident, a baby Western lowland gorilla named Pepe. His mom, Fossey, said to be a great caregiver. Little guy loves to explore his surroundings, and brothers Ibo and Virunga are on hand to show him the ropes. Pepe has a ton of followers on social media. It's easy to see why.
A Southern California dog is on the mend after authorities had to help him out of a sticky situation. 11-month-old Bam Bam's owners found him in their yard with his head stuck in a spare tire. They say they have no idea how it happened. After trying to free the dog, they brought him into the animal hospital. The vets called in Orange County firefighters who were able to cut Bam Bam loose. The incident racked up a vet bill of over $2,000 and left Bam Bam, well, dog tired.